And welcome everybody to the Pearls of Wisdom show. I'm your host, Emily Miller, the Pearls of Wisdom coach, and I'm joined today with a very special guest, Tetka Rhu, all the way from Brisbane, Australia. And I'm so blessed and grateful that she's woken up early to join us because it's 7 a.m., I believe.
Yep.
Yep. So thank you everybody for joining us today. It's going to be a very exciting show because we're going to be talking about Tetka's story, about how she became Lady Picasso, how the legacy she wants to create and is creating already with her online presence, and some other pearls of wisdom. And so I'd like to just take a moment. I've got some notes here to read just to introduce Tetka a little bit more. So Tetka was brought to the stage of her life where she owns her ability to manifest her creative artist energy to be a force for the people to own their power. Courage of commitment to following a road less traveled and daring to beat with the rhythm of her own drum springs to her mind immediately as she revels in the journey of her spirit. Her passion of purpose to walk her talk has seen many diverse experiences lead to this moment. Growing up as the eldest of 6 children, Tetka found books to be a comfort and solace, where the world of fantasy and dreamland were an escape from her daily life. Unbeknown to her, this world would open her to seeking her quest for the Holy Grail. The University of Life has fanned into existence a variety of careers, culminating in a totally new journey through fun, travel, and art as a social entrepreneur in 2009. And Tetka, you've had a very varied career, and I'm just going to read these bullet points because it started with banking career, self-taught manufacturing jeweler, philosophy of life and meditation facilitator and mentor, children and adult storytelling, tarot, soul reader and psychic artist, a spiritual healer, a motivational educator, facilitator, a karate instructor, and real estate sales and investments, entrepreneur, artist, and global traveler. Today, Tetka magnifies her essence through intention, breath, Tetka art, and focus on the intended result for movement to happen as a natural momentum through continual repetition of the process. This formula is breathed into many people's reality, contemporary Tetka art prints, fashion accessories, and books to awaken the giant within themselves and their environment. Tetka's joy is unbounded when she recognizes the value of bringing forward her soul family to work in union and collaboration in achieving the vision of working with people in achieving personal dignity and harmony on the earth. To totally own your power, whether it is in your business or personal life. The value this brings moves in an ever-expanding circle of unity so that the multiplying effect happens where people of all cultures become part of the soul family. Tetka embraces you into her life when you are inspired to take action, to own your power in your life. We are all born to be incredible. This is your time to flow on the great river of life as you embrace your goddess within. So, thank you, Tetka, for joining us today.
My pleasure.
And welcome.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you. I'm in your hands and I'm so looking forward to it.
Well, I had the pleasure of meeting you in Australia beginning of 2011, and that's when I was starting my journey in the entrepreneurial world as the virtual assistant goddess. And one of the pieces of art I got from you, ladypicasso.me, is this beautiful goddess, golden angel light. I can't remember her exact title.
Light, golden angel, but just that.
And this is the case I had for my first iPad. and it was just such a source of strength and joy and inspiration for me, and it really did help to shine a light on the work that I was doing and produce conversations with people in unexpected ways. So I wanted to thank you very much for creating that opportunity through your artwork. And I'd love to know more about, how did you discover who you were meant to be?
Well, you mentioned in the lead up to this moment, one of the aspects of life that I've experienced is karate do. And to be true to myself, that is the essence and value that really, really opened me to my integrity to walk my talk. And look, to be very clear, I'm 65. I'm 66 in a month now, and I'm ageless, and I feel younger and more vital than I've ever felt. So let's get that out of the road. And when I was 23, I started karate. And really what started my journey unconsciously was I watched a program called Kung Fu with David Carradine. And of course, Bruce Lee was my all-time, like, big-time favorite. And I love Bruce Lee. And I'm quite the warrior, obviously. Anyway, in the program, there was a grasshopper, and as in the grasshopper philosophy. And he spoke about basically Zen consciousness. Now, back in those years, there was nothing out there about metaphysics. There was nothing about spirituality, etc. And I had no clue what it meant. And I just said, I want that. Out of the mass of babes. Whoa, what a journey it turned out to be. So in 9 years later, I found life totally changed, and unconsciously I'd taken a whole learning curve to be my spiritual self in the earth. So time went on, and basically, the real big major catalyst for me that changed my life, and really, really, I understood the value of who I am, because once I opened up when I was 35, 36 to my spiritual gifts, my psychic energy just blew out. And suddenly I became a guru to people. And it was pretty hard for those who knew me to take, because I'd been a manufacturing jeweler for 10 years. And suddenly this well-respected, normal, conventional person was suddenly cuckoo, Lulu. And I won't even bother to tell you what happened as a result. I mean, just briefly, I had death threats, because of who I chose to be. It was like, whoa. But when I was in my 40s, I'd started training karate again, because I really knew that I had to get back into the physical aspect. Even though I'd been living, breathing, sleeping the essence of the art, I hadn't been physically training. And I knew that I had to start with a new sensei, which I did. And so when I was 47, I attained what is called the Shodan Ho, which is your provisional black belt. And once I'd done the grading, it was really, really weird, because I went into this space that I had no idea what it was. All I knew was that I was very fragile, in that it was like I was on a tipping point. I thought I was going off the scale, because my whole body, and particularly my head, was just like so painful, and the energies were so powerful. And I was given information about owning your power at that time. So everything I do, say, breathe, I've experienced. I don't just say it for the sake of saying it. I don't say it from books. I say it from living, breathing experience. And that's of value to me. And I hope that it's of value to everybody else. And therefore, that then took me into, once I'd attained my Shodan Ho, I actually started educating students, karate students. And in that, I learnt more as a teacher, because the students taught me, And I actually, because of my vision and clairvoyant aspects, I could see what was happening in people's bodies through the process of changing angles within their body, within their feet movements, within the way they strike, where they held their body, etc., etc. And then over the next few days, as soon as I saw that vision, I kept getting information about how to change DNA. And we're talking 1997 here. And
wow.
yeah. So that evolved into a program that was called Awaken Your Power, Way of the Sacred Spirit, which I've actually written a book on. And it was interesting because the whole program is very, very simple, and it changed so many aspects of people. But I've had to basically encapsulate everybody's energy that took part in all those courses over the years, so that I truly am all that is. I truly am oneness, But
yes.
Yeah. So I recognize just through the basics of life, such as relationships, such as health, such as career, such as money, they were what I focused on through, as you said, intention, breath, focus. And how I found intention and how intention works was very, very simple. I was training for, I think it was my first Dan, and effectively, I was like training so many hours in the week, and then on Saturday morning we'd go in specifically for black belt training. And on this Saturday morning, driving through the mist, because I lived on a farm, I was just so womped out, and the last thing I could think of was karate. But I just plodded along on auto, repetition. And we got into class and we started to do our thing and do the exercises. And suddenly a thought popped into my mind. Whatever happens in the next 10 minutes is how my weekend's going to turn out. So, I'll go there. Yeah. Now, next minute, Sensei did something that he'd never done before, and to my knowledge has never done since. And he told us to open our legs in a frog-like position, shoulders back, obviously, and breathe. And the pain in my legs, it's like, hello, Sensei, you are really tuned into these energies, baby. And and I just knew that this was how my weekend was going to play out. There was going to be, some sort of duress that I could get through, because the pain just became so strong. So I kept breathing back into the pain. I kept breathing back, and suddenly the pain just dissolved, and I was able to, just clearly finish the exercise with no pain in my legs, because it's a very very strenuous and interesting exercise to do. Even no matter how fit I was, it was still very, very painful. And so I appreciated then what the Spirit was giving me, and that when we put out an intention, and let's say this radio show that I'm doing with you now, Emily, that I have an intention that for me, you, and every single person listening has the most extraordinary light bulb moment in the next 2 days, say, okay?
Yep.
So, okay, that's my intention. And now whatever happens within this radio show will open me, you, and everybody else to that revelation, that light bulb moment. And that's how energies work. And so I knew that I would get through that weekend, and it would be a little bit ordinary, but I would come through with shining colours. And that's exactly what happened. I said, hallelujah, God, you are very, very cool.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, what I love hearing, Tetka, is about how you have walked and lived the talk. It's everything that is you is as a result of what you've experienced in life. Yeah. And that's really why I wanted to have you on the show, because for me, Women with Their Pearls of Wisdom is all about their amazing lives offline and how they can bring that wisdom, that knowledge, their truth, to own that power and to share it with the world. And create this phenomenal legacy that basically is there for the world to see through the books, through the programs, and for you, you have your incredible artwork. And I'm really curious to know, what was it that inspired you to become Lady Picasso?
Okay, well, nothing inspired me to become Lady Picasso. That was just something that happened. And
Okay.
yeah, I go back into when I was 43, and as I said, I was a jeweler for 10 years, and I was doing psychic readings, and I did an expo, and I needed a couple of posters. And I said to a friend of mine who looked after children, I would love the kids to get involved and work on this poster because I had a vision. So I went and bought oil crayons, and we sat down and played, and the kids just blew me out. They literally blew me out. They just were so free, and they just blang, 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 And
Yeah.
here am I being all controlled and, doing it all perfect. And I went home that night because I have loads of conversations with God. And to me, God, when I say God, Goddess, all that is, it's that higher self divinity of my creative well-being, and my daddy. I call him my daddy because I love my daddy. Anyway, I said, hey, God, this is very cool, but what do I have to do to be totally innocent and free and let go the old aspect of me that no longer serves me? Because I recognized that I was such a control freak, and it wasn't doing me any good. And I received the words in my mind, draw left-handed. Okay, all right,
Okay.
very, very cool. Okay, how do I do that? And I was given the information, think of a word, whether it be dragon, whether it be horse, whether it be love, whether it be magic, whatever. Breathe it in, 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 because your body is your universe. Your body holds everything. So breathe it in, so you become the energy of whatever it is, and then just simply ask for it to draw through you. So that's how I began. And I was absolutely, totally gobsmacked because effectively it was like mind-blowing what I was drawing. Prior to that, I was, had the pencil out and the rubber, and I was a copy. I copied. And I was pretty jolly good at copying, but it didn't excite me. It was just boring as, because I love just being true to self. And I loved what was happening. So I did that for a long time, and I used texters. And even though I sold a lot of the art, I was not happy because I had to say to people, when you buy this, really appreciate that you can't put it in sunlight because the textures faded. I mean, these days, if anyone chooses to use texture, you've got, capabilities of putting it online and selling it as art prints, and it's a different ballpark. But the effects I got were fantastic, and I loved it. And then over time, I basically started to take the left hand into the right hand, and I found that there was a huge similarity, that they were basically, the left hand was more rounded, while the right hand, was more real, as we know real to be. But during that period of time, it was about a 6-year period, people started saying my art was very Picasso-ish.
Okay.
I said, okay, that's cool. And I've never done any study of arts. It's all through spirit. Everything I do is through spirit and through the same process I learned. And the power of the energy just titillates my fantasy and my fancy. But then I'm not sure of the year. Going back a few years now, I was invited to participate in a radio show, which I did with motivational radio. And the producer called me Goddess of Spirituality. And yay, baby, that really sings well. Okay, and I did I worked with Lisa Lomas, who we both know, and she's just absolutely gorgeous and brilliant. And then that I moved on from there, and then a bloke from America who I'd met through online, he connected to me and said, Tet, I'd love you to be on my radio show 5 days a week. I said, sure.
Cool. Oh, wow.
Yeah. And I'm a person who, once I commit to something, I go full hog and simply do it. So it meant at times up at 1 o'clock in the morning, 2 o'clock in the morning, taping for the next day's show.
Right.
And I thrived on it, absolutely thrived on it. But this bloke said to me, you're Lady Picasso. Your work, you are Lady Picasso. And he said, that's your acca. You've grown beyond goddess spirituality. Not that anyone can grow beyond anything, because it's a matter of being integrated within self, you know. And so Lady Picasso, he began calling me. And then I spoke to a lady who was looking after my art at the time, and she said, I love it, absolutely love it. You know, we need to brand you in that manner. And so ladypicasso.me became the branding and the website. And so that's how it all happened. And from that moment onwards, it was like I had to really accept, you know, the acca, Lady Picasso, because to me, I am Tetka Rhu, pure and simple. I am Tetka Rhu. And if people want to call me Lady Picasso, they do. But the fact is, it's branding, you know. And but I've got to tell you something really exciting. This was like buzz. As I said, I'm totally connected to spirit, and I often see people, and I, you know, energies flow in, flow out, and I'm not a medium, so when spirit comes, they, you know, it's a big deal to me. So it was about midnight this particular evening, and I was painting Rockstar, which is black and white artwork. And next minute, I'm tingling all over, and I look up, and here's Pablo Picasso. Oh, shoot. It just went through me. Here's Pablo Picasso standing next to me. I said, wow, mate, this is very, very cool. And because I've been aware that these blokes, Pablo Picasso, Brett Whitley or Whiteley, Salvador Dali, have been in my awareness for years. And I've been given instruction through these, again, warmth. If that happens, lightning bolts going through my body. And I've been aware that they've been instructing me, and when, you know, and I just flow with that. I flow with those instructions. And so to see him next to me was a pretty big deal. And we had a chat, and he is a hard taskmaster. You know, there's no flies on him. You can't, how can I say it? You can't skip anything. You can't skip any steps with Picasso. He just makes you just face everything head on. And you know, he is very non-emotional, and I love him. Absolutely love him. But, you know, I just always smile. He tickles my fancy because he's such a tough dude, but really soft inside if you really get to know him, you know. So Pablo Picasso, you know, he really, I have his tick of approval, but I cannot do anything in the way Pablo Picasso does, because I'm not Pablo Picasso. I'm Tetka Rhu. And so it's not about who I am. It's not about who Pablo Picasso is. It's about the energies and how they wish to express through my expression. And in that's where the power is, you know. So, and that's every line, every dot, every color has an energy that aligns to a vortex that opens up into the earth and into the artwork, so that every person who participates with my art in bringing it into their home, their environment, their clothing, as you have your laptop, iPad, etc.
The iPad case,
it has energy impact. And honestly, and I love sharing with people how to use the art, to be of value and to be of service to them so that they can grow into the best they can be. And this tickles me, Emily, because years ago I recognized that it was my limited ego that wanted everybody to be the best they can be. It's none of my business.
Right.
That's their choice,
Yep.
you know? I cannot force or coerce people into being who, you know, they're not ready for. It's up to people to take the steps and say, right, baby, I'm ready. And the charge is on. And, then it happens. So it's very cool.
Yeah. And I love that you said that, because it is about us being ready and stepping up, taking that action and being committed to the journey, to saying, this is who I am. And like you said, Lady Picasso is the branding. You are Tetka Rhu. You own your power. And I love the way that you share that message, and through your work, you're empowering others to do the same, because I know for my own personal experience that when I've used the repetition of like the goddess prayers, that very first book I believe I read of yours, and your latest one, the Jesus healing meditation one, that was really phenomenal. It's like 6 days of prayer and intention and breath, and just things really shifted for me when I went through that process. And that was in December, so not that long ago. That was when I really started to step into being this person who's now sharing the message of Pearls of Wisdom and helping others to create a legacy. So I want to say deep respect and thank you for that.
Thank Jesus, you know, it's great. It's very, very cool to be a messenger. And that's really what we all are. We're messengers of our truth. And if it resonates with others, then so be it. You know, that's very cool. Because at the end of the day, we are in a different time span, and life, you know, has been rather an interesting cycle for people, because they're being brought to face their fears. And, you know, the succor and nourishment Jesus gives, and that meditation was just something that was given to, not just, but something that was given to me moons ago. And it's interesting because Jesus actually is my main mentor. And I don't sprout that often because I'm not a churchgoer. I was brought up Catholic, and I actually walked away from the church. I actually walked away from Jesus, Lady Mary, etc., because I couldn't stand, and I'm talking about like back then, I don't even know the years now, I was 13 at the time, and I couldn't stand the message of fear and the hell and brimstone crap. And I said to God, that's not who I know. The God they're telling me about is not a God of fear. He's a God of love, you know. And I don't see that I'm here to fear you. I'm here to love you. And that then was my, you know, ray of sunshine, if you will, of walking away from traditional control and manipulation. This little rebel said, no, not having it. But then when I started meditating, it was Jesus who came through, and it was Jesus always who gave me, you know, the strength and courage and commitment through the energies. But the Jesus I know is different to the Jesus that is in the Bible, in the sense that he's been a taskmaster as well, because he's the white light and the healing, and the healing power that he generates. But his mission for me, and I say for me because who knows what it is for other people, was to be and is to be accountable and responsible for who I am, and, you know, to take me on a journey of self-mastery. But I got to tell you something, and this is a big deal for me. Going back again, 36, 37, so I don't know, late 80s, I think it was. And I was coming home. We lived on a farm, and I was driving in the drive to the actual farm, and there was a little hill, and there suddenly I saw this huge white light. And then out of this white light pulsing was the figure of Jesus.
Wow.
Now, my mistake at the time was that I actually shared that with who I called friends.
Right.
And then suddenly the whole world seemed to know, and suddenly I was more cuckoo than they already thought. But that's when the death threats actually started to happen. And
okay.
oh, sorry, I'm getting a little emotional here. And because again, it was like people couldn't stand that somebody would dare to walk their talk. But actually what this did for me in getting these threats was actually made me more committed and more strengthened in my purpose to say, hang it, I am who I am. This is real, baby. Jesus is real to me. That vision was as real to me. So whatever you do, you know, and from there I just grew from strength to strength. And I have to say it was like at that time that people started putting me on a guru plateau as well. And I just said to God, this isn't kosher. You know, I'm not a guru. I'm about 2 steps in front of these people. I'm not owning something I'm not, you know, and I believe we're all our own gurus if we dare to look within and find our own guru. And I said, what I choose to do is to teach people how to be their own guru, to find their own answers, to honor their own wisdom. And you talk about a legacy, and that's it in a nutshell, is to empower people through my art to find their own answers, you know, to appreciate how they operate. Because when I actually taught meditation and philosophy of life through the University of Third Age, and that was a very powerful time because that opened me up to so much. Again, the Third Age students taught me more than I taught them, sometimes I felt. And in that, I recognize that, you know, an orange is an orange is an orange, but an orange can mean so many different things to so many different people. So it's about finding what that orange meant to you or means to you. It's about finding what the energies mean to you and how it translates in your world of where your soul is evolving into and, you know, up to in any one moment. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's like there is no right or wrong. There just is. So I want to thank you very much for sharing that. And we've had some comments in the Blab chat saying choice coaching from Canada. Katie says, "Wow, awesome!" And we've had Gus Zucchini. He's joined us. So I want to thank people for being here with us on this live interview with Tetka Rhu, who's sharing her pearls of wisdom and helping us to really tap into that energy so that we can own our power. And because I know that a lot of fears people have that I work with is like they don't want to be seen as a copy, as an imitation of someone, and yet they go, who am I to share my truth? Because in some respects, they say there's somebody else already doing that, you know. So what words of advice would you give to someone who's fearful of being seen as a copy?
Okay, the first thing is to recognize that, and I have to say this clearly, that I grew up very codependent. I grew up very lacking confidence, although people who knew me back then would say I was the most confident person in the world, but it was all ego confidence. And so effectively, the more that I aligned to my spirit, the more I checked in to find me, the more I honored my brilliance. And I'm not talking about ego brilliance. I'm talking about my gifts that I'm given. And who am I to deny the gifts I am given by my daddy? You know, God's pretty cool. And so, so it's like I honor the brilliance of my gifts. I honor my unique way of expressing them. But to get to the point where you're copying, so many people over time have said, okay, this person has been super successful doing this way. And I say, Ripper, fantastic. And and then they say, well, you should do this, you should do that, because I've had loads of mentors over the years. And yeah, I've done all the left brain things. I've followed what they've said.
Right.
And I've soon tracked that, hey, babe, just because it's right for someone else doesn't mean it's right for me. However, the learning that I've gained from going this way allows me to expand my boundaries and say, ask the question, how can I express my gifts in a unique way that is my way of expressing that will align to other people? And in that, the answers will come. And if they don't hassle, because your body already has the answers, and your body will act and react, and you'll find yourself doing things, and it's like then you'll get a reaction from people, and it's like, hey, this is very, very cool. And so you simply learn to trust your spirit in doing and being. But how can people own their confidence and own their unique ways if they are not commenting, if they're not building relationships, And one of the things that you probably will ask me later on, so I'll blurb it in now, or blab it in now, is that, back in 2007, Facebook, when I started, and I won't go into how I started just yet, but when I started, Facebook was a different ballgame. It was more social. And people were commenting, and people were getting involved, and these days I find that people only really comment if there's a poor me victim statement, or something not right happening in your life. They don't comment on positive. They don't open their minds to think about what they're seeing, and they just like or love, which is really, really easy. Next, hello, baby. Stop, look, listen, feel, know, and experience. And you're better off to have, in my mind, less friends who are on the same page as you, and open up either a community group that works for you, or a like page, a fan page, it used to be called. So over the years, as soon as the phones got involved, Facebook started to change. And of course, when Facebook changed was when, it started costing money to have ads, et cetera, et cetera. Now, I totally get making money, and I love that. I love that, that they do that. They've owned their power and done it. I have the choice of whether I want to participate or not. But what I encourage people to do is get involved. If you like somebody's work, if you like people, say g'day, because I'm always on the lookout for people to collaborate with. For me, it's not about me. It's about the team. It's about what can I do and who can I work with so that my gifts are shared with as many people as possible, and equally it shines the light on the person that I'm collaborating with gifts as well. And then everybody's a winner. You're a winner, I'm a winner, and the people receiving the goods are a winner because of the energies. It's all about the energies, honey. Yeah. So I encourage people on social media to get involved, to connect, communicate, what I call the 5 C's of trade, grassroots trade. It's connect, communicate, cooperate, collaborate, and celebrate, baby.
I love that.
Yeah, equals success. Yeah, for everyone. It's got to be I don't like using the win-win thing, but it's just got to work for everyone, where, the benefits blow out, and they can see results in their lives.
Well, thank you, Tetka, for bringing us on to this conversation about how you got started with using Facebook and the ways of using it successfully so that there is that end celebration because of the communication and collaboration and the connection that's being generated. So I really want to thank you for that. I also wanted to know if you had any other tips that you've learned from sharing your message using your online presence.
People are amazing. That's what I've learned. The people that I've connected with are amazing. You are amazing. You are incredible, Emily. And
thank you.
Yeah, and what I've learned is basically be true to self, always be true to self and never deviate. You know, a dear friend of mine, Ornella, she's an incredible woman, and she says, Tetka, you are the most tenacious person I know. You just don't give up.
Yeah.
And why would I give up on something I know is truth, you know?
Yeah.
It's like, this is my truth, but my truth is only relevant to me. It's got to be the divine truth that resonates within all in the way that they choose to experience it. And I use the word choose because we all have different experience, different learning growths at every one time. And I guess one thing that I've learned is stop. And I go back to when I said I used to be back in those years prior to, well, basically 2000. In 2000, my 30-year marriage ended. And I learned that, you know, you cannot live in a limited way. You've got to face your fears. So I say to people, you know, don't use lack of confidence as an excuse. I'm not interested. You know, if you're feeling lack of confidence, breathe in, breathe out, and literally honor what happens, because what will happen in your body will naturally release it through emotions, old memories coming up. Your body may experience some pain, etc., and then the new energy will come in to replace, and so the cellular patterns start changing. And so what I've learned, as you know, is to take whatever happens in my world on Facebook and to honor that if there's anything that is negative, that doesn't really, you know, stir my possums, then I say, how does that affect me? And if I have a reaction to that negative statement or situation, then I know I've got crap in my body that I need to heal. Okay. And so again, I look within and I simply say to either God or the angels or my healing guides, hey babies, let's get to work and inspire me what I have to do my end. And you're part of my team. So come on, let's get this show on the road and the healing begins. Okay. So then I find that, you know, I don't attract, but if I don't have a reaction, I say, you beauty, mate. You know, I'm clear. I am clear. And I've done the job. You know, next, let's move on. And so I have learned that whatever works for people is that always, always honor your code of integrity and always, always do what you say. And I put up a post in Girl Power Rules community page, and that was yesterday, in that I found a lot of people promising things. And, you know, I'll do this for you, I'll do that, I'll do this, I'll do that. And it's like, Ripper, this is very, very cool. You know, this is the next stage. The team is on the road, you know, we're rocking and rolling. And nothing, zilch. And it's like, my God, what's wrong with these people? I have an emotional reaction. And damn liars, you know, bloody hell, mate. And so I said, okay, this has got to be healed within me. And so I did. And then I recognized that, you know, I have no reaction anymore. But I do honor that if people promise something or say they'll do something, then there is, they're buying into the law of accountability and responsibility, going back to Jesus, right? And and so literally I now hold whoever that person is accountable for what they promised. Now the fact is that if they don't come good, cool. Watch this space for the right person to come in, and literally it's greater than what would have ever happened with the initial person. So no subterfuge. You know, when you're online, be real. Say your truth and mean it. And if you say you do something, do it. You know?
Yes.
It's like, that's it. But I have to say, I have to clearly say, I don't choose to put up negative posts. I choose to put up positive. And if I do put up a negative, I'm intrigued at all the people who come in and want to basically be the you know, how can I say it? The person who rescues. And I have hello. So I choose not to put up posts like that because I don't choose to have rescuers in my life. You know, when and that buys right back into the paradigm of that's held within the collective consciousness, particularly with women. And there are men too, but mainly women. That buys into the goddess Persephone. Persephone is awesome, and is an amazing healing energy, and really is the goddess of healers. But the energy for healers is to get out of the rescue mode, you know. So it's like stop trying to rescue everybody. And that was one of my main learnings initially, trying to rescue everybody, trying to help everybody. But it wasn't effective for me because I wasn't receiving back. I was giving. Hello, lady. You're so beautiful.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm so gorgeous. Oh, yes. Thank you. That doesn't feed me. That feeds my ego. It doesn't feed my soul growth, you know. I'm not gorgeous. I am brilliant. It's like I'm not nice. I'm lovely. I'm actually a dragon mama. I don't tolerate crap. And if there's something to say, I'll say it. And it's like, yes, you know, I do have a heart that's larger than Ben Hur's because it is filled with divine love. And to know that love, it's just, and it's overcome me so many times in my life. You just stop. And you just breathe in, and it's actually humbled me so much it brings you to tears. But to be effective in honoring that divine love, you've got to get out of the space of rescue. You've got to say to people, right, if you want to help yourself, start doing it for you. Start investing in you and stop taking and literally
start giving.
Balance out and give and receive and give. And so I learned to effectively give in that, you know, if people respected me and honored me with my gifts in whatever way that was relevant to them, whether they purchased products, artwork, original art, etc., whether they built businesses with my art, you know, it's all relevant to people's circumstances where they simply shared what I do, you know. It's about that exchange of energy. And for balance to happen, that exchange must take place on some wavelength on the earth. It's just critical because otherwise you literally fall in a heap. And I know I'm chattering 10 to the dozen, but I'm going back to share with everybody something that is so crucial to learn and appreciate. And I had a fairy shop. And it was the coolest time in my life. And I really got to experience my inner child. And it was when I was 43. So 22 years ago now. And basically, I love the kids, you know, they were absolutely fantastic. And the first year, the fairy shop just blew out. Like people would walk into my fairy shop with headaches and feeling sick or whatever, and they'd walk out not feeling anything other than great. And it's like, hello. And, you know, my ego is well and truly satisfied, I've got to tell you. But then they'd take up my time for a $3 stone. They'd take up an hour of my time instead of having a consultancy or a reading. They'd come in, but me, I gave. And so the second year, things started to implode. The energies,
right,
and I had to close the shop down. So the shop was there for 2 years. And I went back to the farm, and it took 2 whole years of asking God on a daily basis, why? Why is no one here for me when I was there for everybody else?
Right.
For 2 long years, finally, I got an answer. Because everything you do and did back then, you've done for approval.
Okay. Right. Yes. Yeah.
It's like the conditioning, the growth learning. And so I had to basically heal that aspect of me that did everything to be approved of. Okay. Yeah. So somebody might like me, because my greatest lesson in life was rejection.
Yeah.
And so part of rejection issues is the need to be approved. And so that was a ripper. That was an absolute fantastic moment in time, because it was like the next stage is here. And and even with my art, the greatest journey moving through with my art was putting myself in a place of being rejected, because people may not like what I do, and nobody might accept me. And it's like, well, I don't really give a toss. It's true. I'm doing it anyway, But yeah. So I hope that answered your question.
Yes, it has. Thank you so much, Tetka. And I can totally relate, because we are conditioned and brought up in a culture where, for women, it is all about being rescued and, not and being people pleasers. There's a lot about, I have to do this so that you will accept me. I don't want to be rejected. I can't be who I really am because fear of standing out, etc. So I want to thank you for sharing your truth, your story with us. And all the tips as well have really resonated, with helping to set the intention, to breathe, to tune into spirit, and to follow that inner guidance, to be all that we can be. And I know that we're getting to the top of the hour, and I wanted to check with you if you had a few extra minutes, because due to technical difficulties we started a bit later. So if that's okay.
Yeah, cool. Happy as a mother. That's something I've got to tell you. I just said happy as a mudlark. I have to I have to share something that's really special to me. When I first began meditation, I would go so deep and so out there. And every time I received a truth or a vision when I was out there, to get me back on the earth, a little mudlark would tap on the window. Every single day. It was like, yay, baby.
Wow.
I'm happy as a mudlark.
Fantastic. That's wonderful. And I wondered if you could share with us all the ways that people can connect with you online. So if you could tell people what your website is, how to find you on Facebook, etc., just so that we have you saying that on the show. There is also information on the page where people have registered to see it, but in case they're watching live on Blab or somewhere else, please share with us where people can connect with you further.
First and foremost, I've got to say g'day to Choice Coaching. I don't know your name, lovely, but g'day and big respect that. And thank you. Thank you. Okay. LadyPicasso.me is the website, and there's blogs, there's video blogs, there's art, obviously art and more art, and there's a contact page so people can connect to me through there. They can comment on blogs and connect to me that way as well, which I find is an invaluable resource that people just don't use. And then, of course, you've got Facebook, which you can connect to me on my art page, ladypicasso.me, Tetka Rhu, because that's effectively where I do most of my posting. On a personal level, it's Tetka Rhu. But I've got to be clear, I tend to use my art page more because I really like to build friendships. And the more that people connect to me and communicate with me, the more that I honor friendship, and that's when, the friendship comes in. Because for me, a friend is real. It's not just a number. People are real.
Yeah.
So initially I'd suggest connect to me on my art page, ladypicasso.me, Tetka Rhu, and comment. Let me know who you are. Message me. Say g'day. And Twitter at Tetka. Oh, gosh. The rest, Tetka Rhu on Google, Tetka Rhu on LinkedIn. You'll find me. Just type my name into Google and you'll find me all over. I've built a pretty big online presence over the years. Pinterest, it's all there.
Thank you. That's fantastic. And I love the fact that you are using your Facebook page more than your personal profile to communicate and to build those relationships, the friendships, etc. Because it is about relationships. And I'm loving the fact that now Facebook has introduced these variety of reactions, because I can remember when we first got to know each other, we used to say, oh, I wish there was a love button. I really love this, and now we have it. It's like, how cool is that we've managed to manifest that now?
Yeah.
And all the different ranges that there are.
Although, quite honestly, I think it's fabulous, but I wish people would also take time to comment. And I know it's a little bit hard to type on phones, etc. But you know what? If something really resonates, don't just like it or love it. Comment. Say what's in your heart. And fear of social media has been probably the characteristic that has stopped people from being their true self online, from really, really getting real. And, there's so much out there. And, of course, if you've got fear of something, guess what you attract? You attract that reality.
More of it.
Yeah. So it's like, dare to be true to yourself, dare to honor you. And if you've got fear of something, again, breathe it back in. And I got to tell you how I came across that. That's pretty powerful stuff. When I know we might be running out of time, but it's so powerful. First and foremost, I have a guide with me who comes in and out over the years, and he's Hawaiian and he's a kahuna, and I lovingly call him Joe. And he has been really instrumental in teaching me a lot about the matriarchal energies and how energies work on the earth and the power we carry in our bodies to change things through the elements, the natural elements. And so I don't even know when it happened exactly, but I was on the farm all those moons ago, and suddenly I received the message, breathe it back into your body, breathe the pain back into your body, breathe it back into your body. So I've learned to trust over the eons, the messages that are given. So I did, and bang, it was gone. And I brought that into the program of Awaken Your Power Way of the Sacred Spirit. And I was gobsmacked at how quickly the pain went. When emotional stuff came up, I'd say, breathe it back in, bingo, it was gone. And then over time, I was told and shown that, because you've got to appreciate that I was taken out of school when I was 16, because at the time it was more important for the boys to be educated. And so for years I thought I was completely, absolutely a dim stick. I didn't have any value on my own worth or intelligence because I was taken out of school. And so I was a readaholic. And once I started opening up to my spirit and meditating, all this information kept coming in. And then after I think it was about 18 months, I stopped reading. I haven't read anything much in between, when I was 37, 38 till now, which is quite some years, past, because every single bit of information that's given me comes through from spirit. And the reason that I value that my intelligence, which is my superior intelligence, is my divine intelligence through my feminine goddess consciousness, is that everything that I was given initially, I was drawn to books with that very same information. It's like, hallelujah. And that's when I recognize the greatness. So our greatness comes from our listening to our spirit, aligning our male, female, or whether you're a bloke or whether you're a girl, it's your male, female that's important. It's not just about the goddess. It's not just about the god. It's about the god, goddess. And I don't even know why I'm starting to tell you this. Oh, yeah, Joe, the kahuna. Anyway, so I was given this information with regard to the atoms in our body and how an atom, and again, I note that I didn't have any schooling on biology or science or anything, so this was all a new ballpark. And I was given that an atom, in effect, if you pump it out, is like a circle, and a circle is made up of 10 triangles. Now, triangles carry the energy of fire. And fire for me is the power of the Holy Spirit. And it's that fire power that is made up in our atoms that is the alchemy of change. And so when you breathe something back into your body, the natural element of fire changes the negative pattern within our cells, which I've been sprouting for about 30 years now, and people are only just starting to get that we can change the patterning in our cells of the memories through simply breathing it back in. Okay, so simply asking for it to change, to be changed. Yeah, you've got to go through the process of healing, but you've got to start it somewhere, and this is how it starts. And so once I understood the physics of how the breathing worked, it made total and absolute sense. And I didn't need an explanation, but it sure was good to have one.
Well, thank you again, Tetka, for sharing with us that tip about the breath and helping to overcome fear, because that's really powerful. And I know it's one that I have used and then I forget. So you've just reminded me that I've got this choice, that I can embrace that. So thank you once again.
Repetition.
Absolutely. Without repetition, it's so easy to get distracted, to forget, to lose our way, if you like. So
So basically, even just a little tip for people, as they go into their day, and even, to work out their marketing strategies for Facebook, simply ask the question, okay, what is the best way to use marketing strategies for whatever your gifts are or for whatever you do that is unique to me on this day, because every day changes. And then you just simply breathe in, breathe out, and I use the count of 15. And I like to breathe in through my nose, down to the belly, and out through my nose. And the reason for that is that it connects into your subconscious more quickly. And so ask to be inspired what to do. And again, it doesn't matter if you don't receive an answer. You don't have to hear things. You don't have to see things. You just have to act and react. It's having the courage to act on what you're inspired to act on. And if you do that, you'll find that, everything will start opening up more and more and more. And if you don't feel like doing any marketing on any particular day because you're going through whatever, don't, don't. Keep silent, go into yourself and heal you, simple.
Thank you. That is simple, and it's very effective as well. And then that probably will mean that we avoid going on and being negative on Facebook and just sharing when we're not in a space to share the truth and be our own best friends. So I want to thank you for that. And I just wanted to let people know that if people want to watch this again or to get Tetka Rhu's contact details, I've created a short link. So they need to go to bit.ly/POW show. So abbreviated Pearls of Wisdom, so POW show. And there you'll be able to watch the replay, have all of Tetka's contact details, so you can go like her Facebook page or find her on LinkedIn, Pinterest, wherever. And also I have an invitation for people that if they would like to get a online business legacy assessment, they can book 20 minutes with me, and I will go through your online presence and help give you tips and advice on how you can ensure that you are creating the legacy you want to have and see in the world, so that your pearls of wisdom are being truly reflected. And you'll find details of how you can book that on the page too. So I'll put that in the live chat here. It's bit.ly/POWSHOW. So hope people will go check that out. And thank you so much, Tetka.
Before you go, I'd like to say to people, anybody working with you is just so blessed. And you know, to take the opportunity, to take the opportunity to work with Emily, because you'll be blessed, and that's really fantastic. So thank you, darling. Thank you for being you, and love you dearly.
You're welcome, and thank you. You're so welcome, and thank you to our audience. Thank you for listening and watching, and I look forward to seeing everyone again on the next Pearls of Wisdom show. And please do get in touch. I'd love to hear people's feedback and comments and questions, because that, like you said, that's how we improve and educate and inspire and get our message out there in the way that you guys want to receive. So thank you all, and special thanks again to Tetka Rhu. You've been amazing, and I love you so much.
Ditto, and thank you. And thanks everybody for tuning in. You rock, you know, because without each other we're nothing. You know, it's all about togetherness, because we all reflect one to the other. And so if you like me, hey, I'm a part of you and you're a part of me. If you don't like me, I'm still a part of you, baby.
Well said. Excellent.
So thanks, everyone. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Bye.